Hey, yo, what the f***? This is a pally right here.
The late night flight is paid for by the following.
Time to play the game where we find out who's capping. It is... This is Sound.
This is the game where we find out if this is the bullshit. Nasua, New Brew, co-producer Smarts and Jerz.
Yeah, I don't know how he bars his way in here.
Shouldn't have fired me last episode, man.
But he's here.
Jerz,
He's
we're gonna,
back.
Jerz, I thought we're gonna talk about that later on in the show. Come on, man.
Hey, man. I'm here.
In this show is real, is short and sweet, to be honest with you. BMF recap. We're also going to be talking about the recap of Lloyd Banks' new album. We're going to be talking about Kyrie Irving. We're going to be talking about Nic Cannon. But right now, let's start this game. Oh, before we start the game, Co, how are you?
I'm good, man. Everything is well, you know what I'm saying? I'm here. You here. Jerz here.
Yeah.
We back. One big happy family.
Yeah, we are one big happy family. It's just crazy because, you know, Jerz just want to come barge his way up in. Just bulldozing. Like, excuse me. Excuse me.
He made himself nice and comfortable. It's cool.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do this, y'all. All right. Looks like a certain factory is closed for business.
Okay.
R. Kelly, the R&B singer, wanted to go half on a baby, ironically, faced accusations of sexually abusing dozens of young victims without consequence, was found guilty of federal crimes this past Monday. For over a month, Kelly has been on trial in Brooklyn federal court on 1 count of racketeering and 8 counts of violating the Mann Act, a federal law addressing sex trafficking. Federal prosecutors accused Kelly of running an enterprise through which he exploited his star power time and time again to prey on underage girls, young women, and at least 2 male victims.
Wow.
Anyway, jurors deliberated for just 9 hours to reach their verdict, finding Kelly guilty on all counts. He now faces decades in prison and is scheduled to be sentenced on May 4th, 2022. Smarts, I ask you, is it the bullshit that Black Willy Wonka has been giving golden showers rather than golden tickets to female Oompa Loompas so they can have a career at the chocolate factory?
Wow. Don't forget to tip the bartender.
Oh, man.
Okay, here we go. Next one.
He said, I'm an older man that love all women. Wow.
Speaking of older men that love all women, hold on. This is crazy. You've been segueing. Y'all two been doing great today. Hold on. The male entangler and breadwinner himself, Will Smith, who is married to Jada Pinkett Smith, discussed his fantasy with his intimacy coach, Michaela Boheim, about a list of women whom he would love to be with and planned to contact the women, but he ultimately realized the idea was horrific. Will Smith said, I don't know where I saw it or some as a teenager, but the idea of traveling with 20 women that I loved and took care of and all that, it seemed like a really great idea. And then after we played it out a little bit, I was like, that would be horrific. That would be horrific. I was like, can you imagine how miserable? The 53-year-old star admitted Jada never believed in conventional marriage. So they spent a long time figuring out their relationship boundaries. He said Jada never believed in conventional marriage. Jada had family members that had an unconventional relationship. So she grew up in a way that she was very different than how I grew up. There was a significant, endless discussions about what is relational perfection. What is the perfect way to interact as a couple? And for a large part of our relationship, monogamy was what we chose, not thinking of monogamy as the only relational perfection. But Will did admit that their approach isn't for everyone. Smarts, I ask you, is it the bullshit that I didn't Jada too?
Oh my God. Wow. I'm not going to answer that question. You're going to have to answer that one for you.
This guy, man. Hey, yo.
Maybe I should have got some tattoos on my chest and wear a fedora and a Migos shirt. Maybe I had a shot.
Yeesh.
I should have been through the Cali.
Word.
She just nursing men back to health. I could have been a broke waiter and got on Fox 5 because of Jada Pinkett Smith.
Ended up at the red table.
You want to do a Different World remake? Yes. And finally. Oh man, some bad news in Miami. Bad news has been revealed about Trick Daddy and Trina's morning show. Looks like the Trick and Trina morning show will no longer be airing on Miami's 99 Jam. They've been on air together since 2020. There's no word on why the show was pulled off the air. Trick Daddy and Trina have been the faces of Miami hip-hop for about 2 decades now, so it's only right that they take their chemistry outside of the booth. They had already been co-stars on VH1's Love and Hip Hop Miami, so why not talk about they bullshit together on the radio, right?
Right.
But they also got into some trouble. So, I'm gonna tell you about the trouble that they got. This is what Trina said during the George Floyd protest. Check this out. They need to make the curfew at 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., she said. That's how I feel. Keep everybody off the streets. These animals off the streets that are running around Miami-Dade County acting like they have escaped from a zoo. Look them up at 5 p.m. Lock them up at 5 p.m. so the streets can be nice and clean. That's how I feel. She later apologized for her comments.
Trina said that?
Trina said that.
What?
Smarts, I asked you.
Yeah.
I asked you, Smarts. Smarts, I asked you. I asked you, Smarts. Smarts, I asked you.
Go ahead, man.
Is it the bullshit that Trina from 5 o'clock p.m. to 5 o'clock a.m. also had men running the streets around Miami-Dade County? We gotta answer that. Come on, Trina. Trina, you know what? I do want to say this about you. I actually opened up for you at Robert Tree Hotel.
What?
Well, me and my group, we actually opened up for Trina. I freestyled. I even got them off the stage. Like, get out of here. Y'all doing bullshit. Did some Eddie Kane Temptation and did a freestyle by myself and got people clapping, right? And the whole time I'm thinking like, wow, I opened up for Trina. But I could have sworn everybody said Trina will open up for you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Wow, she's engaged, man. You gotta respect the lady, man. That was her pass, man. That was her pass.
It's a bunch of us. I'm a hand in the colony.
Hold on. Everybody on their mountain, everybody marching for a young nigga like me to get tsunami on it. I'ma get it, I'ma win it, baby. I'll be on my curry till I crash your bird 40 on the tech. Yeah, I'm acting nerdy if it's at the Appalachian to the Appalachian. I'ma do whatever that they take to make a black a nation. Hold on.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Sweets, and I'm your chief flight attendant. On behalf of the pilot and the entire crew, welcome aboard the late night flight. And here is your captain, the Now River of New Jersey, the pilot of Tuskegee Training, the greatest Hennybader who has ever lived, the creator of Black Pilot Radio and the Late Night Flight. Here is the victorious one, Nasor Nuru.
What up, my passengers? We are first in priority and we'll be departing in 5 minutes. We appreciate your business. With that being said, this flight ain't cheap. Donate to the Cash App, $, the late night flight. Now, it might be a little turbulence, but we are predicting clear skies on our way back to Jersey. But before we do us a solid. Give us a like on our Facebook page. Follow us on IG to click the link tree in the bio. Chirp at us on Twitter at the Late Night Flight. And you can catch all 62 episodes on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Amazon Music, Audible, the Late Night QR Scan, wherever podcasts are available. Now let's take off. Welcome back to the Late Night Flight. Nasor, Nuru, Jerz, co-producer Smarts. Before we talk about Kelly Price coming back to life.
Yo, I'm tight.
And some what?
I'm tight right now.
What's wrong now?
What happened last episode, bro? You fired
We
me?
had a great episode. Co-producer Smarts. Didn't we talk about it?
No, there's no we without me and the we.
Yes, amazing.
Sean B.
And you gonna co-sign it, bro?
It was a good episode.
Without me?
Black men and Trump and
Come on,
power.
man.
Ain't no good episode without me, bro. What you mean? You being disrespectful,
There's
bro.
been plenty of great
Teddy Bear
episodes with
Jerz
you.
over here, man.
Hey, man.
Listen, Winnie, look, hear me out. Hear me out.
Uh-huh.
Look, we have great episodes with you.
Yo, you know, I'm bringing this up all night. I'm just telling you that right now, bro. You should have never, I ain't get no phone call. I ain't get no text message. I ain't get no, yo, this ain't working out, the chemistry. I ain't get none of that. I just wake up one day and there's a new episode and I'm out on it.
America, in my defense, it is not all night. It is 6:42 p.m. and I would not be with him all night. That is his wife's job. Do not ever talk like that on this podcast.
Yo, you can deflect all you want. You fired me. And that's foul. You're supposed to be my guy. How you going to fire me and not tell me I'm fired and then replace me with somebody and then bring me back to the show and give me no explanation at all? So disrespectful. And you know what, Smush? You're supposed to be my guy too.
Hold on. I'm about to tell you some truth. I'm going to be very truthful. Do you know me to be a conceited man?
Yes.
Damn it. Well, all right. Listen, what I was just saying is that I apologize.
I don't want your apology, man.
As the CEO of Tuskegee Records and the Late Night Flight, I apologize. I did not reach out to you last week. All right. I was pretty busy.
Yeah.
Started a new job. Yeah. You know, done crying in the corner.
I took that too.
I had to just rebuild, redesign. And then at the same time, me and Sean B was just hitting each other up on Instagram. I'm like, yo, this Roe versus Wade thing you got going on your Spotify, I like this episode. Come down and talk.
So what you saying is I got to get my followers up? That's what you saying?
No, man.
That's what you saying?
What we saying is...
Oh, it's a we now. It's we now?
Sean B, he's a good, yo.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Yo, shout out to Sean B. You did your thing, bro. But I'm sorry. I ain't trying to hear that right now. I could have been on the episode talking that talk too.
So the next time we have Sean B, we'll have you here as well.
Yeah, now, you know what? No, I'm tired of him. Jerz, let me read this text out to America.
Hold on, wait.
You want to talk about? No.
I need to know what you reading. What you reading?
No. I'm going to read a text.
I do talk about politics.
I'm going to read a text out to America. Where do you work?
You know where I work.
I don't know.
We ain't going to say it, but you know.
You know we men. We don't tell each other where we work at. We just say, I'm getting off work. I'll be there in a second. You know that. I don't know where you really work at.
That's kind of facts.
You know what I mean? Come on now. But bro, I'm not saying you don't talk about politics, but I can go through every episode, and of course, co-producer Smarts can too, because he the one that do the audio engineering, you know, and the decisions. He will just let me know, like, yo, political science 8, Jerz 0. He would let me know that. All right. I'm not mad at that because you're great at
you laughing
food.
A little too hard over there, bro.
You're great at food. You're great at wrestling. You're great at music. You're great at business.
Yo, you my guy, bro. I love you, man.
You're great at certain hypotheticals. The how-to. I love the how-to.
The Me versus Google.
Yeah.
How-to is retired this week, yo.
Oh, God. Out the park,
disrespectful.
Bro. Out
That's
the park.
Why you acting like that, man?
So disrespectful.
I was trying to find this text. Marsh, you want to just talk to him real fast?
Listen, that's a sign. That's a sign from God that it's not meant to be, my guy.
No, it's definitely meant to be.
It's not meant to be.
So, America, no need to talk, co-producer.
Okay.
I got you. No need to talk, co-producer. I got you. America.
Was it funny last week when y'all was talking about the science of the politics?
Well, it's about to get even funnier when I tell America what you wanted to talk about on this podcast. All right, one day
I didn't send this text.
I want to talk about some boy. I'm going to say that one more time.
Oh, my God.
This is a text from Jerz about the things that he want to talk about on this This is a text from Jerz, your CEO of BBS Entertainment.
Hey, yo.
All right? These are the things that he wanted to talk about on the Late Night Flight. Here we go. One day, I want to talk about some boy like telling lies to like chicks playing games with because they look like they got money. Like other girls and wives that want to be extra tough like they did nothing wrong. Like mean mugging like that's supposed to scare somebody. Like when owe you money and act like you did something wrong to them so they give you attitude. Well, this is so they give attitude, which I like better because that sounds real Caribbean. You know what I'm saying? They don't give you attitude, they give attitude. Very good. I like that. Like that killed that IG model for no reason and then killed himself. Rest in peace.
And you wrote that in a text message. Bars. Wow. That sounds like a verse. And guess who's going to have to bleep all of that?
Well, that's your job. Right? If you would have had, sorry for cursing so much, but if I was on the last episode, he wouldn't have read that text and you wouldn't have to beep nothing out. So technically, it's your fault.
All right, Jerz, we got a minute left in the segment. Can you just tell America about Kelly Price coming back to life real fast?
All right, so She was reported missing, but she wasn't missing. She was actually in the hospital.
Yeah.
She was out. She said she woke up and everybody was around her and told her that she flatlined and they had to resuscitate her, which means she died and came back to life. Praise God.
No, praise God. So hear me out. And I say this respectfully because I didn't read or watch anything on TV about this. So if this is true, I'm happy that this is happening. She hasn't had a hit since Heartbreak Hotel. So it's great to see her alive to at least try to make another hit one day in her life. So hear me out. I just want to ask you a question. So you don't think it's best that she get vaccinated, Jerz?
Do I think it's best that she gets vaccinated? Yes. So, I say that because I myself have been vaccinated.
So why are you running around telling people that they shouldn't?
I never told anyone they shouldn't be vaccinated. What I said was it's their choice to be vaccinated, and I just don't feel like someone should be fired due to a choice.
But they're not being fired. They get to choose another job.
And then fired.
Hold on, can I ask you a question about that? So for those who don't know America, we just segue into healthcare workers that's in New York, in the state of New York, they're being shoved out, if you will, because they're not vaccinated.
Right.
So they're being fired, not shoved out. They're being fired.
No, they're choosing another job.
No, they're not choosing another job.
Being sarcastic.
They are choosing to not take
the vaccine,
the shot, which means
therefore you have to choose another job.
No.
All right, stop right there, Jerz. I just have to ask Smarts this one question, then we can go do something else. Smarts. So here goes my question. When you say they got to choose to do something else.
Yes. That's what free will is. That's what it's all about.
You just had the free will to do that corner.
That was a nice impersonation.
Hold on. The question is. Wow. What's the job that they get to choose to do if they don't want to take the vaccination?
Wherever people that unvaccinated work.
Walmart.
That's where,
we got the BMF review coming up next on the Late Night Flight.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has turned off the fasten seatbelt sign, and you may now move around the cabin. However, we always recommend to keep your seatbelt fastened through the trials and tribulations while you're seated. In a few moments, the flight attendants will be passing around the drink menu as well as the brunch menu. We only have chicken or waffles or both, so choose wisely. And thank you for flying the Late Night Flight.
Welcome back to the Late Night Flight. Nasua Nuru, the co-producer himself, Smarts, and the CEO of BBS Entertainment, my man Jerz. Before we get into this BMF review, this BMF recap, Jerz, I want to ask you this question. Would you rather have 750,000 subscribers on YouTube just because, or be a skilled individual in the field of your preference?
I'll take the subscribers. I'm already skilled in my profession. Both of my professions.
Smarts, what about you?
I'll take the 750.
750,000 subscribers in 2021 will get you a house. You know what I'm saying? It'll get you your house. We ain't talking about 750,000 views, which is great, because that could just be one video. 750,000 subscribers. You're guaranteed 15,000 views on 15-minute BS video clips of whatever. You know what I'm saying? After you had 750,000 subscribers, I've been a dope songwriter for 10 years. I work at Comcast. That don't even correlate. Anyway, speaking of the hustle.
Let's go.
BMF. 50 Cent, in his mind, did it again. It was, what's that show that you told me on ABC? Where the man came out of jail and now he's the greatest lawyer since
For Life.
For Life. Power. Now we got BMF. Jerz, what did you think about it?
I thought it was a dope introduction to the brothers who started the BMF clique. I also think the visuals was dope. I think the clothes was done just right. I think the actors, the people who played them, I think that they was pretty good. But I like the story behind the individual. I like to know more about who you are besides just selling drugs. And I believe I got that.
You believe you got that?
Yeah.
What part of episode 1 did you think you got that?
In the beginning when they was kids.
That was only for like 4 minutes when they couldn't light up a stove.
They was poor.
And then they said, yo, finish your older brother's cereal.
I don't think people really understand.
Or was it the other way around? Finish your little brother's cereal.
Something like that.
It was one or the other.
But I don't think people really understand.
Have you ever did that before? I don't even mean to cut you off. Have you ever done that before? Have you ever ate the same cereal from your older or little brother or sister?
No, I'm an only child.
Oh, yeah. That says a lot. That says a lot. Smarts, you ever done that before?
Nah, I would just have poured water in my cereal and ate it like that.
You pour water in your cereal?
I've done that. Yes, we had no milk and we pour water in there.
You had watered flakes?
Yes, sir.
Wow. Did they come soggy? Wow. Don't worry about that. Jerz, continue the story. I'm sorry.
That's a good question.
Yeah, word is born. I'm like the science was like, hold up.
Y'all just made me laugh. Yo, what you think? It was water, man. Of course the cereal. If you didn't eat it fast enough, it gets soggy in milk if you don't eat it fast enough.
No, cereal is a different type of non-perishable, man.
It's a different texture of liquid. It's not the same, just, you know what I mean?
Well, let's not talk about how poor I used to be and get back to the episode.
Speaking of water
and really poor in Detroit, though.
Yeah, word. Speaking of water and frost, let's talk about Detroit. Let's talk about that Detroit crack. Wow. All right. Anyway.
Nah, but for real though, they was really poor. Like Detroit still to this day is a very poor city. People grow up certain type of ways. And like the part in the movie where he getting on his father, like the house, you know what I mean, all of the bills coming here. And he looks at his wife like, we behind on the mortgage? You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's real. That's real.
I thought her old ass was tricking. Wow.
Real talk, I thought that was going to be another storyline for her. Like, she was out. I didn't think she was tricking, but I thought she was doing something she ain't had no business doing.
Up the money,
no, because she made that face like,
right.
Like, oh, no.
So, like, stuff like that, those conversations happen in the household, yo. You didn't get that in Power.
No.
All right, but, okay, you didn't get that in Power. Smart, what say you on all this?
Like, we had the conversation offline, and I just think after watching the season finale of Raising Canaan and watching the premiere BMF, I was disappointed, man.
Okay.
It wasn't, the dialogue wasn't that good. It was like very, very surface, very, very vanilla. The acting was mediocre at best. And as far as the wardrobes and how everything looked, I didn't grow up in Detroit, so I don't know how accurate that was to Detroit or not. Only people from Detroit could tell me that. But I was impressed by, what I saw. And the story is cool. It's a story that we've seen. It's a story that we know. So it was just my expectation from the acting perspective and the chemistry and dialogue between the people. I didn't buy it. Like, it just, you know what I'm saying? It didn't do it for me. Like, watching Raising Canaan, it's just the whole energy behind it is crazy.
Wait, now, so before you go, I just want to state that there's been a lot of movies with subpar actors and acting that have become classics.
That is true.
This could be that. Give it some time. It's one episode. That's all I'm saying.
Can you name a show that's like that? I'm just asking.
A show or a movie? I can name a movie. I can't name a show.
Name a show, because it's the show that we watching.
I can't name one.
Because movies are one time.
Family Matters. Family Matters.
Episode 1 of Family Matters probably was pretty good. If you get to see Urkel at least for like 15 minutes.
No, you don't get to see Urkel.
No?
In the first episode.
Urkel's not there in the first episode? Then that might be the corniest first episode in history.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yo, listen, let's look. Urkel was so good, Jalil White couldn't work no more.
Well, yeah.
Think about that.
They tried to,
They tried to give him other roles. It was like, can you do a little Urkel? I'm not doing that no more.
Yeah,
all right, well then.
Get out of here.
Get out of here. My man's selling weed right now with the Urkel costume on. So I'm sorry, Jerz. I'm just saying.
No, I'm just saying I didn't buy it. Like when I watched the first episode of Power, I was in.
Right. I mean, I think
the introduction to Ghost, I was in. You understand what I'm saying?
I would say that style of cinematography was a different, I don't want to call it level, but a different texture.
It was definitely a different
very
texture.
modern.
Yeah.
It looked like if you're watching Billions on Showtime. It had that type of look.
Yeah.
This is still clean, but it's gutter.
It's retro. It's cool.
It's retro. Yeah, like
Raising Canaan is retro.
Retro, but it's really good.
There you go.
But you know what the difference is? Well, I
The
can't say
language is not
that.
retro in Raising Canaan.
The language, and yes, it was.
Nah, not really.
All right, well, let's
They didn't talk like that in Newark. They didn't talk like that in Newark in the 80s, but they talk like that in Queens and Brooklyn.
Let's go back to BMF.
They talk like that in. Well, I was too young.
Let's go back to BMF, fellas. So I am one that doesn't necessarily like, hey, New Jack City classic, The Wire classic. Hey, Power is a classic. I may not be the biggest fan, but I'll still give it that nod. It's a really good show.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my thing. And this is not a knock to 50, because I feel like this is 50 lane. 50 want to tell street cartel life stuff, and that's all good. I'm not mad at that. There's nothing wrong with that. But there are a lot of Black American men that are not doing street stuff. And because you are a very popular figurehead in America, you can easily executive produce something that Ryan Coogler, what's that dude that made Black Panther?
Ryan Coogler, you said it right.
Right, yeah. You can help him out, create a TV show, something different, and you could be the executive producer of that, and people will put eyeballs to it because you're the executive producer. What say you to any of that?
But why does 50 need to be the one to give you different
Because 50,
content?
That's a great question,
Different type of,
I'm going to give you that.
It's already out there. Why gotta come from 50?
You know what? I'm glad you said that, because the answer is not out there.
It is out there.
Tell me your show.
The have and the have-nots.
That's a terrible show.
That's not the point. You said name a show. I named the show. You said positive.
All right.
These are positive things. There's another one.
Have-nots is not positive.
Jerz, hold on. No. I don't want to get into the argument about that. Listen.
What I mean by positive is it's not about.
I get it. No. Hear me out. That demographic is 55 and, matter of fact, 65 and dead. Okay? That's a different demographic. Let's talk about 40 and under. Matter of fact, let's talk about 45 and under. 29 to 45. Has there been a good show, a Black American show from a Black American director and or executive producer other than Shonda Rhimes?
Not a sitcom.
That's not a sitcom, a drama series. Because I don't think it has been any except Power.
I'm going to give you Lovecraft Country, man. People just didn't take it.
I said
There's
good
one from
show.
Netflix. It's about a family in a church. I'm sorry it's skipping my mind right now, the name of this show. But it's about a church, Greenleaf.
Okay, again, I don't know if people
Greenleaf
45 and under is watching Greenleaf the way they watching Power. I don't think people are going on Twitter and having watch-alongs or going to, the next day going to work talking about Power for 15 minutes with their coworker. Power has that Game of Thrones, Walking Dead type of feel where Black Americans are like, it's water cooler talk at this point.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. When have we as the community have had a show of that magnitude? We haven't. And that's why I'm saying, 50 Cent right now is giving it to us. He can give us different versions. That's all I'm saying. He doesn't have to.
New York Undercover was a show of that magnitude.
That's the 90s. It's 2021. That's the point that I'm making. When the last time?
You
telling me since 95.
You got D-boys in Power, right? Drug dealers. You got D-boys in power. You got kingpins in power. You got police officers in power. You got politics in power. You got teachers in power. You got positive role models as far as father figures are concerned in power. You have every element in one show. You focusing on the main character and the main plot of the show.
It's not
really. Look at Raising Canaan.
Oh.
One of the main characters, significant other, is a teacher.
My man. Let me help you understand something on that.
He's probably going to die in season 2, but
Canaan and BMF and Ghost and all that stuff for me, Nasua Nuru, is the same. And to me, is basura because it's the same. I get it. It's consistent. So people going to be like, well, this is pretty good. I'm like, nah, I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. 50 Cent, if you are the person that's making this, and I'm going to give it to him as far as cinematography wise, he has given us A+ work. But realistically, I'm going to say it like this, bro. he's delivering an A+ game with C+ players.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
So I'm not that impressed.
I don't necessarily think it's his responsibility to do it. I understand why you would think that you would like for him to do it.
It's not exactly,
but because he's in the position, you feel like he should just go ahead and throw a few out there.
Look,
like that.
Man,
I get what you're saying.
It's strike while the iron hot. That's what you need to do. Don't be like Issa Rae, where she's about to be America's darling, America's new black businesswoman darling, because HBO is saying that Insecure is the shit, but it only lasts for 4 years. And now she do just 2 movies. And now, I mean, don't get me wrong, she's a writer, so I'm pretty sure she's going to always have work. She's going to always have work. But I want to see that sister in the limelight because I think she's the next Shonda Rhimes. She's something else. She's really dope. And those are the things that I worry about. Think about How to Get Away with Murder. A lot of single black businesswomen was loving that show. Viola Davis was doing her thing. Yeah. It only lasted for 4 seasons. They just quietly went away. Those are the things that I worry about.
But that's most series, though. You can't.
Nah.
But we talking about for us, though. I ain't talking about what's going on like with content overall. I'm talking about with our stuff. Because once it stopped, then it stopped for a long time. And then we back watching Seinfeld. Wow.
Hey, yo, what the f***?
Welcome back to the Late Night Flight. Nasur, New Rue, Jerz, co-producer Smarts. Before we talk about the review of Lloyd Banks' new album, which is called The Curse of the Inevitable, I want to talk about another curse of the inevitable. His name is Kyrie Irving. So, Kyrie Irving is in the news, and he doesn't want to get vaccinated. Now, I'm not going to talk about that yet, but here's the thing. He says he's willing to only do home games, all right? Kevin Durant is telling the staff, the executives, don't you even dare think about trading him for Ben Simmons. I ain't having it. So now they all at a stalemate because Kyrie Irving acting like a Jersey diva all over again. And you, co-producer Smarts, I'm not telling you to talk, but just hear me out, co-producer Smarts. You have been doing the audio work for this show for a year now, correct?
Yep.
So you know that I have made a lot of comments about Kyrie Irving.
Yep.
But you know I do find Kyrie Irving one hell of a basketball player, and if there's anyone that I would pay $1,000 to see courtside, it would be Kyrie Irving.
Yes.
Okay, so there you go. I can't stand this guy right now, yo, because I want to go to a Brooklyn game so bad this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I am not trying to be some public figure that I'm making a stance, but if he is going to do this, I'm just playing home games thing, I'm not paying a ticket. I'm not buying a ticket. That's rude, yo. That's rude. You are making whatever, $50 million a year.
Okay.
To play 80 games.
Mm-hmm.
Fans adore you.
Yep.
I adore you. But you make these crazy community activist calls that got nothing to do with the community. Has everything to do with whatever you're doing. Because remember, I know you don't follow sports like this, but I'm saying this out loud because Jerz do. Last season, he was out for a few games. Talking about, so I need some personal time. He outside screwing up COVID protocol, just outside chilling with the mask off when they know whenever they go out, they supposed to keep their mask on. That was the NBA protocol.
Yep.
Keep their bag.
Yep.
He don't give a. And then he make it sound like it's some black power movement. Like, and then if a white Caucasian person wants to talk to me in a bar about Kyrie Irving and say this and that, I feel bad because I usually, even if they wrong, like you could be OJ and I just might defend you. I can't defend Kyrie or OJ. Jerz, go ahead.
I mean, well, first, number one, this all goes back to the state of New York. The state of New York is mandating that they get vaccinated. First of all, I do not like Kyrie as the person. Love him as a basketball player. As a person, he gets on my nerves because some of the things that he does, some of the things he says is just out of left field. But he is literally depriving the team and the fan base of seeing him play basketball by not getting vaccinated. So you saying home games, so it's actually away games he'll be allowed to play.
Oh.
This isn't coming from the NBA.
Oh.
This is because of the state of New York. So he will not be allowed to play in any home games.
I never knew.
You understand what I'm saying? So he's depriving, and to take this stance, he's literally depriving the fan base that he wanted to play for. That's insane.
It's his life, right?
It is his life.
He can choose.
He can choose. He can choose. Just like the people who working for the hospitals, they can choose too. I just don't think they should be fired.
All right. So, boom bap rap is apparently back.
Mm-hmm.
Lloyd Banks got a new album, The Curse of the Inevitable. Jerz, I'll flip it to you first. As usual, Jerz has skimmed through it. I like when he does that.
Listen.
How did your skimming go, sir?
Listen. Banks can rap.
Yes.
He can spit.
Yes, he can.
I give him that.
Okay.
Production is trash. It sounds like a mixtape. It sounds like a mixtape that...
A good mixtape?
No, it sounds like a bootleg from a bootleg of a mixtape. Sonically, to me, that's what it sounds like.
I'm listening.
You understand what I'm saying?
So you telling me this came from Madware?
I've seen Smarts, co-producer Smarts.
Yeah.
My business partner over at Multiverse Studio.
There you go.
I've seen him produce some awesome stuff from a laptop in somebody's basement. You understand what I'm saying?
Which reminds me, can you give me my songs, please? All right, I'm sorry. Continue.
From a laptop in somebody's basement. Like, I don't understand. Again, I was listening to the spitting. He could spit. Yeah. He could spit. I can't take that away from him, but it sounds trash.
Let me ask you this one quick question, then we flip it to Smarts. One quick question. So, you say he can rap.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this.
Oh, he has no bangers on the record at all. Not one banger. Not one.
Let me ask you this question. The first album he ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that album?
Mm-hmm.
Because that was the album.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So
what you mean when you say the album?
That was probably his best album.
Okay. Yes. It's yes.
Like hands down. The first
only
one.
good album.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's why I said the album. We should know what we're talking about. We're supposed to be cosplaying hip hop know-it-alls, all right?
Okay.
We should know what Lloyd Banks album we're talking about. That's why I ain't even. I'm saying the album.
Got you.
The first one, which is still in my head, the only one. I thought this was his second album out. I forgot about everything else. Thought Beamer, Benz, and Bentley was just like one of them singles that people be getting a 360 deal off of. But anyway, so did that album remind you of this new album though, as far as just the boom bap style and the lyricism of it?
Boom bap style, yes. Lyricism, yes. Cadence, yes. But he was still spitting though. Like he was still saying some shit on his album. I'm not taking that away from him. It's just for me, sonically, if you was to ask me this question 15 years ago, I'm telling my age. Yeah. If you was to ask me this question 15 years ago, I wouldn't be able to give you this answer right now. But it's because I'm in the studio. I sit behind that engineer board.
Bro, 15 years ago, I could understand that because when you were 10, you didn't know music that well.
I like that. I appreciate you, my guy.
Got you. See? I got you. I got you, bro.
You still shouldn't have fired me though. But anyway,
don't with me.
Yeah, man. It's just like it's like sonically, it could sound a lot better, and the production was trash. I'm sorry.
Smarts, what say you?
Smarts could produce better with his eyes closed, bro. Taking his with one hand on the keypad, real talk.
I agree with that. I could have put some work on that album, but I liked the album actually. It was gritty and it was a little nostalgic for me. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what he was going for. I don't, that's it. I don't even have any more to say. I liked it. It was nostalgic. It was gritty. The production, I get it. I understand why Jerz would say that, but I disagree. I think it was a project that was purposefully done that way. And I got it. When I heard it, I got it. I knew what he was doing. I understand where he was going with it.
If that's true,
I appreciate it.
If that's true, then he succeeded.
We have Conway the Machine, Westside Gun, Benny the Butcher.
Yep.
They're basically doing this style and Eminem has signed them. So my thing is, I like this album. I like the fact that he stayed true to what he likes to do. He did it the best that he could. Now, don't get me wrong.
It's not the best.
No, hear me out. The best that he could, because let's be honest. I don't know. Maybe he didn't want to ask 50 for no money for some better production. I don't know. Because he could at least talk to whoever made the beats that was on the Ignasis Jadakiss album, because that was fire. That was fire. Them beats was banging. Okay.
Put Jada on this album.
I mean, no, it'd be the same, because I think the beats are not
stop it.
Bro, hold on. First of all, let me get to my point. Lloyd Banks is spitting on this. And Lloyd Banks is just as good as a spitter as Jada. He just don't have that voice. Hold on, no. Let's back this up for a second. Lloyd Banks do not have the career like Jada, but just like there's basketball players that's just as good as Carmelo Anthony that's just on the street. Lloyd Banks is he's a great lyricist. Hold on, my man. He one of the top 5 mixtape lyricists of all time. Top 5.
No,
I didn't know that was
top 5.
I didn't know that was a category.
It's not.
I'm making it a category.
I disagree 1,000%.
I'm talking about when you heard Lloyd Banks had a freestyle, he was going to be on any type of 50 Cent the Future mixtape. You not pressing record on that tape deck? He hit you with bars, bro. Hold on. Who was
you press record because of 50?
Hey, yo, my man.
And sometimes Bank went in. But you press record because of 50.
Yo.
You bought the mixtape because of 50.
Yo.
These are facts.
Yo. You telling me Lloyd Banks ain't had the hottest bars out when he came out there?
Let's not make it seem like, I mean.
You ain't saying that.
Him and Fab, same flow. Just different voices. So for me, you asked me a question, right?
Okay.
So for me, I heard it already.
Okay.
But again, I like Banks. I'm not taking nothing away from him. He can spit. But what you describing him as, stop it.
Yo, I mean, mixtapes.
You said he was better than Jada, bruh.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
Hey, I didn't say
you said he was better than Jada, my guy.
I said he's just as good.
He's not. He's not. He's nowhere near. He's not touching Jadakiss. We're not going to do that. We're not going to disrespect that man.
Yo, lyrically, he's really good.
He's not.
Okay, fine. No problem.
Jada we talking about, bruh.
Jada has way more opportunities to make way more hits than Lloyd Banks.
Way more opportunities?
Yes. He's always, bro, I will listen to way more Jadakiss songs than Lloyd Banks. But if I want to play Lloyd Banks' first album, we be in here vibing right now.
Okay, and I could play everything from Jadakiss and we will be in here vibing.
Because Jada has more work. That's the point. He has more of a catalog and a library that I can choose and select from.
Whose first album was better in your opinion?
Jadakiss or Lloyd Banks' first album?
Another topic for a different day. Let's discuss that.
No. It's another topic for a different day, but I won't answer that real fast. Top of my mind, I may go Lloyd Banks on that.
I'm definitely going Jada.
We're about to get to our next destination, but before we do, we strongly recommend to drink responsibly and pass that bong to me. You feel me? I got bars. Oh, and give us a follow on Instagram at The Late Night Flight, and give us a like on Facebook, The Late Night Flight, and thank you for flying The Late Night Flight.
Welcome back to the Late Night Flight, Nassau. New rule. Keisha is with me. And before we close out this episode, I want to talk about Nic Cannon. But before we talk about Nic Cannon being the corniest host in America, or the corniest baby daddy in America, or the corniest voice for Black Americans, I want to introduce 2 YouTube clips from a YouTube channel entitled Broadcast Boys. Okay. You ever heard of Broadcast Boys?
No, I've never heard of them.
Never heard of Broadcast Boys on YouTube. Okay. So Broadcast Boys does this anchor man, anchor woman type of situational comedy, if you will. They use their voice as a broadcaster to commentate over athletes having sex with their band's wives, or athletes who have dated adult film stars. And those are actually the 2 categories I have for you right now. Which one you want to hear first?
Let's go ahead and hear the naughty stuff first.
Okay. You want the adult film stars?
Yes. Give me that.
You got it.
Athletes who dated adult film stars, from the sidelines to the set. They said Jimmy G was just a system quarterback. But there's only a handful of Hall of Famers who could execute a 2-minute drill with Kiara Mia. Gronk and B.B. Jones executed an X-rated jersey swap after a defensive struggle in the sheet. He's Johnny Sins in football pads. Chuck Liddell got physical with Jaden James in the octagon, but was knocked into submission after he couldn't handle the boom boom. Tiger Woods' stroke game is perfection on and off the green, hitting well under par with Jocelyn James in his signature red polo. 2 veteran legends of the game linked up when Tito Ortiz entangled with Janet Jameson for some ground and pound gamesmanship. Dwight Howard entered the league as a devout Christian, but he lost his religion with Mary Carey. And with hands as reliable as Hines Ward, it's safe to say he was catching whatever Lisa Ann was throwing back.
I wonder what Lisa Ann was throwing back. Goodness gracious. Keisha, Tiger Woods, you, Tiger Woods, in that red signature polo. I can see you with that on Sundays. What's going on here?
I mean, he could wear, I could wear. He can bring the golf clubs and swing away. I mean, I'm down with it. It's Tiger Woods.
All right, Keisha, here goes the second one. So this one right here from the broadcast boys, these are the athletes who have been having sex with other athletes' wives, okay?
Athletes who slept with their teammates' wives. No one is safe. While Russell Wilson memorized Bible verses for his post-game interviews, Golden Tate was going long with his lover. A man with hands these reliable doesn't fear God. Tony Parker is for the streets of San Antonio, entangling with Brent Barry's wife. In the midst of a committed relationship with a desperate housewife, the French truly are love-making machines. It was light-skinned crime at its finest when Derek Fisher went behind Matt Barnes' back to canoodle with his ex. Matt drove 30 hours to handle his business, and karma relegated Fisher to the WNBA. Sources say Jason Richardson ruined Steve Nash's relationship in 7 seconds or less. The only assist of his career he wished he'd have back. DeMarco Murray was the big man on campus at Oklahoma, and he mentored Brennan Clay by stealing his playing time and his girl. Give this man the Heisman.
Give this man the Heisman. What you thought about that one, Keisha?
Disrespectful. Seems like there's no honor amongst men.
It's not when they millionaires. Of course it's not. Especially young ones that are being drafted to the NBA or NFL or the WNBA. Well, maybe not the WNBA because unfortunately they're not making that type of money yet. I pray that they will. I'm just saying that we're talking about the finances of the athletes. Cause when you 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and you about to walk in an NBA arena already making $5 million a year. I mean, really? You know what I'm saying? Like, think about that. Imagine you, Keisha, about to make $5 million at 20 years old. Like, would you even be considering marriage?
No, I'd be buying all types of clothes and shoes and just damn shopping sprees every freaking weekend. So, no, I wouldn't even be thinking about a relationship. Nope, sorry, boo.
Honestly, you'll probably be buying men just because, like, it's okay. Like, it's okay. It's okay. 10,000 on them, no problem. Have a good one.
No, none of that.
Oh, okay. She like, no, I gotta save my money. What you talking about? Anyway,
right.
Speaking of someone who is not saving their money, we trying to find out, Keisha, what does Mariah Carey, Brittany Bell, Abby De La Rosa, and Alyssa Scott all have in common? Well, they have all been wilding out with the subpar actor, subpar comedian, subpar host, and subpar rapper himself, the greatest and most paid mediocre Black American in Hollywood today. The childhood star himself, Nic Cannon, was on The Breakfast Club discussing why he is taking the Abraham concubine approach to having children. Check this out, Keisha.
That's why I do it, man.
It's not the number of kids, though. I guess people question the different baby mothers. That's what.
Well, why do people question that? I mean, because that's a Eurocentric concept when you think about the ideas of like you're supposed to have this one person for the rest of your life, and really that's just a classified property when you think about it. I mean, like when you go into that mindset, if we really talking that talk, like just the idea that a man should have one woman, we shouldn't have anything. I have no ownership over this person. Like if we really talking about how we coexist and how we populate, it's about what exchange can we create together. So I've never really subscribed to that mentality. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I understand the institution of marriage and stuff, but if we go back to what that was about, that was the classified property. That was because a father gave another man his daughter for land.
Okay. This is wild. So first things first, let's just go to Keisha. You're a woman. You're a mother. Nic Cannon is out here doing his best impression of the She Hate Me movie. And I know you love that movie, but he's doing it in real life. Let me know if this is fair or foul.
So first of all, I want to say that She Hates Me is one of my favorite movies and everybody should take the time out to go check that out. But what Nic Cannon doing out here, to me, is foul. Out here in these streets, he's having multiple children with multiple women. And I just think it's a cycle that he needs to break.
You're saying that it's a cycle that needs to break. I understand that. No problem. Here's my thing about his Eurocentric idealism. Like all of that, I'm not agreeing with. First of all, don't use Eurocentric as a way to escape your BS, okay? Just because Mariah Carey didn't want you after 8 years of marriage, you don't gotta act like this anymore. Like, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, realistically, none of us believe that Mariah Carey wanted you in 2008 when it happened. I didn't.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like this is the thing about Nic Cannon that make me laugh. It's like Nic Cannon is the only one that acts like we don't think he's corny.
Wow.
Yeah.
No disrespect. And like I said in the outset, this is a mentor of mine. Like, I would love to meet Nic Cannon. I think Nic Cannon can help me, help my podcast, help my multimedia swagger, all of it. Because I do think he's a great businessman. And I think his pen, as far as writing comedy, sketch comedy, is not that bad. Think about this for a second, Keisha. Nic Cannon would do so well in Saturday Night Live. Would you agree with that or disagree with that?
I agree with that.
He would do very well at Saturday Night Live because he has that commercial black swagger. Like he's that black American that white people love more than black people.
I mean, it's a little slapstick. I mean,
it's worse than slapstick. I mean, it's
I mean, his Wildin' Out stuff is way worse than slapstick.
No,
I agree with that.
Wildin' Out is slapstick, but I appreciate that because, again, no, for real. Don't get me wrong. I'm old enough to say I don't watch Wildin' Out now, but when it first came out, when it was Cat Williams Wildin' Out, that was popping. That was a really good show. And that shows that Nic Cannon can create. He's a very good content creator. The thing about him is that he's not the one that should star in the content that he creates. He's a very good piece of the puzzle. He's not the missing piece of any puzzle.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like he was that thug on Chirac, that Spike Lee movie. He was terrible in that movie. He's very not, so. I'm like, why ain't you just let Wesley Snipes play both roles? Like, I would have just enjoyed that. That's fine. Let Wesley play it. Like, sheesh. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing about Nic Cannon to me. It's like Nic Cannon is getting away with highway concubine murder because he's money. He's a millionaire. He's a millionaire that has this, ooh, you got me sipping, that type of style where women are going to be like, nah, like this beta dude right here can hang out with me. But I really do think that Nic Cannon is actually more alpha than you think, Keisha. It's just the fact of the matter that it's presented very boring.
Mm-hmm.
And I think women of their caliber, and because they look amazing, and I'm pretty sure they're models or DJs. Obviously, they are models and DJs. I did look it up. That's why I'm doing it like that. But I'm just making a point. And I'm not saying that they need him for the money or anything like that. I'm just saying that maybe these are women that never looked at themselves as being married anyway. I think there's a lot of women out here, independent women, that don't necessarily want to be married to have the full life, a life of a mother, a life of a woman, a life of a businesswoman, that type of life. And maybe they believe, and again, I'm not speaking for women. This is where you can interject and let me know whether I'm right or wrong. Maybe as an escape out of marriage and that whole ordeal of monogamy, because maybe them or their friends haven't had a good go at it. Maybe this whole business polygamy thing that's going on might be the key. What do you see in that? Because I don't agree with none of that, but maybe that's what's going on.
I mean, I feel like Nic Cannon definitely lets these women know how he feel going into the relationship or whatever they have, situationship, entanglement, whatever they have in. I feel like he is letting them know, and they're openly or deciding to just go ahead with it and have his children. Again, like you said, he is a millionaire, and I haven't heard any of these women complaining about him not taking care of his children.
Thank you for flying the late night flight. Shout out to all the pilots who contribute to the fastest rising podcast. If you want to contribute, DM us at The Late Night Flight.
Hey, yo, what the f***? This is a pilot right here.